Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin and today we're doing my buys and buys, which is basically my haul and my empties for the month of May. Now I did get the idea for this video from another YouTuber. Her name is Anne. I always have her link down below. Go ahead and check her out. But overall, basically, I am looking at all of my empties for the year. I don't have a goal as far as monetarily what I would like to use up, but typically I do use up about $2,000 worth of products per year. As far as the products that I'm bringing in, I do have a beauty budget. I can link all the videos up in the eye and down below to go ahead and go over my intro. Basically what I'm doing is I have $50 per paycheck. I get paid every 2 weeks. So I have a total of $1,300 for the year. I have broken that up into two different categories. So I have $900 for the year for makeup and beauty, and I have $400 for the year for skincare. So far, I have been doing very good on my budget, and I have not gone in the negative for the entire year. I did pretty good with my spending this month, but I do want to make a caveat as far as maybe some months going forward, is that I need to start building up my bank. I am looking to make like $250 worth of purchases in November for Black Friday. And so if we're looking at $250, that's 5 paychecks worth of, so 2.5 months worth of saving. And so I really kind of have to buckle down in the summer months and, just use what I got. Don't worry about bringing in anything new and just kind of really save that money up in my bank for November and Black Friday sales. So with that, I kind of wanted to put that caveat that, of course, I'll still probably bring in things here and there, but maybe over the summer months, don't expect any big hauls. But I will still have plenty of empties. I will go ahead and I always have my project pans linked down below. I'm doing a 10 pan and I'm doing the deca panning this year. So I have plenty of empties to share with you guys. I do have my cold brew today. This is bringing me life. I have been extremely exhausted, so if I'm a little bit low energy, please forgive me. I had mentioned in my, was it my No Pan Left Behind video, that one of my dogs got extremely sick earlier this week. Well, the other 2 dogs got sick as well. I think we ended up getting a bad batch of dog food, and so I do need to call Chewy sometime today and report that the dogs had a like a gut reaction to the food to see if anybody else has made complaints about that batch. They are kind of on the upswing of things, but having to be up 4 times a night to let them out to go to the bathroom, I'm quite tired. But I will try to bring as much energy and enthusiasm to this video, but just know that it is powered by cold brew. All right, well, I typically do my empties first, so I do have my bucket of empties, my trash can. Again, I will link my very first buys and buys if you want to get my inside joke as to why this is a trash can. But I will go ahead and I'm going to unload everything so I'm not making a lot of noise with the bucket here, and we'll go ahead and go over my empties. Do you need to go out? All right. So as I was saying before, the dogs just came up to me and let me know that they needed to go out. And now they're all a ruckus. It just started raining outside and we're having like a sun shower. So like if you live in Florida or if you live in places that have sun showers a lot, it's like the big old fat raindrops that are coming down and it's like beautiful outside. There's just this one like rain cloud over my house. So that'll be fun, but our grass really needs it. It has been so hot. But let me get into the empties. My dogs might be milling around, and that's just because I can't shut them out of the room because I need them to be able to tell me if it is time for them to go out. But let me go ahead and start with the product in my empties that doesn't count. And so that is one of my eczema creams. And so I have eczema on my hands, and so I go through eczema cream very frequently. This is one that I keep by my bedside, and then I have smaller ones that I keep in like my vehicles, and then I keep an even smaller one in my purse. But basically, every single time I wash my hands or anytime that my hands are starting to feel dry, if I do not put some sort of cream on them, my fingertips will break out into eczema and it's extremely uncomfortable. So I'm not counting these towards a budget or towards my empties. I'm just curious how many of these I go through throughout the year. So I went through another eczema cream. Let's get the one hair care product out of the way. And so this is the Living Proof Restore Repair Mask. I did get this in a FabFitFun last year. I need to start writing down like when I open these things up, but let me see. Yes, I got this in a FabFitFun in August of 2022. So that would be the fall box. Yeah, that's the fall box. So I don't use traditional conditioner. I use hair masks as conditioner. So I basically went through this as my regular conditioner. I wash my hair about 1 to 2 times a week. I like some of the Living Proof products, but I'm not the biggest fan of I like their styling products over their actual like cleansing and conditioning products. So, I mean, I went through this, but it's not anything that I would seek out myself. But I always do like trying out higher end hair brands in my FabFitFun box. Which again, shameless plug, I filmed my FabFitFun video for summer and I'll link that up in the eye. That went up earlier on this month in case you didn't catch it. I have a Lone fragrance product. So this is just a trial size of the Burberry Her perfume. I do really like this perfume. I have a full size of the Burberry Her Elixir, which has a little bit more vanilla notes, but I also really enjoy the original. And so I was happy to use this little sample up. Another one off is a nail polish. And so this is one of the Essie Gel Couture polishes, and this is in Take Me to Thread. This was in my Pan That Polish, which shame on me, I have not posted my finale for that because this was the other polish that I was waiting to use up. Those are my line markings, and so I was able to completely use this polish up. When it gets down to the bottom and I'm adding the nail polish thinner, typically I pour it out onto like a yogurt lid and I create like a decal, and that's how I end up using the rest of these up. But I am happy to get this out of my collection, and that means that I only have like 2 colored polishes left, and I'm waiting for my budget to get right before I make my purchase from Holo Taco. I'm not going to be using my beauty budget to buy the nail polishes. I'm just going to be using my own money, my fun money budget. But since the pups did have to go to the vet this week, that has kind of drained that fund a little bit. So I'm going to have to wait another month or so to build that account back up before I can purchase something fun for myself. Because ultimately, of course, the dogs are priority with their health. Let's do skincare and then I'll finish up with makeup. And so I did use up one of my Polish Choice SPFs. This was in my deck of panning, and this is the Essential Glow Moisturizing Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I rotate between this one and the Resist. I really do enjoy this product. I do need to make a purchase of some sunscreens later on this year, and I'm trying to toss up between getting another one of these versus getting another one of the Resists. This one is a little bit less expensive. But overall, I really do love this product. I have oily skin, and I don't think that this necessarily makes my makeup break down faster or makes my oils come through. So it's nice to have a glowy SPF that I can wear with my oily skin. I also used up a moisturizer. This is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Daily Moisturizer. I picked up 2 of these during Black Friday of last year, and so this is the first one that I've been able to use up. I am currently working on the other one of these right now, and then I have some more higher end moisturizers to use that I've gotten in FabFitFuns. But overall, I wouldn't mind repurchasing this. I've gone through, this is maybe my 3rd or 4th one. I really do like this formula. I like that it's also not in a tub. I can just pump it out into my hand and put it on my face. So overall, and you really do get every last bit out of this tube. Like there's nothing left in the bottom of this tube. It is completely done. So overall, really love this product. I'm trying to think, let me see where it is on my list, because I know that I got these on a deal because of Black Friday. I paid $4.80 per one. So that is just incredible to me that for $4.80 I can get such a great product that actually does provide moisture to my skin. I used up a face mask, and so this is a Peter Thomas Roth mask, and this, lots of puppy dog noises today. Like I said, they have to be in here with me, so it is what it is with the puppy dog noises. And again, I pointed out in my video that since my dog did get sick in my office, I had to rip up all my carpet. So I just have the concrete slab right now, and so their noise is like not dampened by the carpet anymore. But again, it is what it is. This is what life has handed me right now, so I'm just going with it. So probably a little bit more click-clacking and a little bit more puppy dog noises in the upcoming future, but I know that you guys have commented about loving my dogs and loving kind of seeing them walk behind me and stuff, so I'm sure you guys will forgive me for some doggy noises. But this is the 24K gold mask. This was part of a set of 3 or 4 masks that I got. When did I pick this up? This was from 2020. So I picked this up in November of 2020, and I've gone through the pumpkin one, I've gone through the aloe one, I've gone through the gold one, and now the only one is the more mud mask. That's the only one that I have left out of that set of 4. I mean, I like these. I'm not sure if they're necessarily worth the price of the kit. I've kind of gotten away from masking a little bit, basically because I'm using other actives that I can leave on overnight. So I don't need to use a face mask that I wash off. But the Black More Mud Mask does really help with kind of just pulling out impurities. So I feel like if I am a little bit more congested, then I love that mask. But otherwise, the aloe one, the gold one, I didn't really see that it did anything. The pumpkin one was too intense, so I actually ended up using that on my arms and on my chest. But overall, the more mud mask one, that one's pretty good. But overall, glad to have another one of these rolled out of my collection because, like I said, I've had them since November of 2020. So with this next one, I'm grouping these together. And you'll see there's actually product in here. I have reused this container. So this is the Innisfree Green Tea Seed Serum. This is a hydrating serum. I picked this up at TJ Maxx a while ago. But basically what I do, let me tell you what the other ones are. Ordinary niacinamide and ordinary caffeine solution. So basically what I do is I take this hydrating serum plus these two, mix them all together, and then put them into 2 of these. So I have another one of these back in my fridge that has a mixture in it as well. And so that way I'm getting 3 serums in one that I don't have to open each, container. And again, I've told you guys before, I mix a lot of my products. I am not a cosmetic chemist. I don't know if I'm hurting the efficacy. I don't know if it's causing anything funny that I'm mixing these together. I haven't had any bad reactions on my skin, but of course you do your own due diligence. You make sure you're doing what's right for you. This is just what works for me. Because I do have rosacea and I have that redness, I like the niacinamide. The caffeine just again plumps and wakes up my skin, and then just a dose of hydration in the morning. Because I am oily, I try to put as much hydration into my skin as possible before I go in with my makeup to kind of combat some of that oiliness and sebum production throughout the day. But I went through all of these. I have, of course, refilled it because that is the serum that's in here now. So the way that I do it, because I split it into 2 of these containers, once this is done and once the other one is done, then I consider all of the products completed because I am mixing them together and basically creating one product. So that is the way that I treat my serums in the morning, and so I had these 3 empties. Now we can go on to makeup, and this is the exciting part. Maybe I'll do the part that's not so exciting. I used up 3 sample foundations. These were prompts in my deck of panning, and so I had the It Cosmetics Nude Glow, which looked horrible on my skin, and I will not be looking for a full size of this. And then I had the Tower 28 Sunny Days. It's like the tinted moisturizer sunscreen thing. I loved this. I don't know what magic was in this, but the 2 days that I wore it, my skin looked amazing. So I think I mentioned that I have enough foundations to like reach me through the end of the year. So I don't want to buy another foundation with sunscreen in it until I am actually ready to use it. So I think what I'll do is, if I'm still looking for a product like this come next summer, this is definitely on my loves list to try to get during a sale, because my skin looked amazing for a lighter coverage product. If you've seen my project pans and you've seen my deck of panning, you've seen these empties, so I won't go on too much about them, but I did end up using up my Becca bronzer. It is completely done. This was the Sunlit bronzer. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx as Becca was going out of business. When did I pick this up? This was in 2021. So that's when I picked this bronzer up. It took me 100 uses exactly to use up this product. So I am sad that Becca is gone. I really did enjoy this product, but overall I'm glad to have a powder bronzer out of my collection. Then we have a cream bronzer. This is the Wet n Wild Contour Stick. This is in Oaks on You, and I did dig out everything in the component. And so this was in my deck of panning, and I think I said in that one that it's okay. It's not my favorite. For $3, if I'm trying to meet a shipping threshold on like Ulta, I'll throw it in my cart and I'll use it, but overall it's not something that I'm going to seek out and consider a holy grail. Also in my deck of panning, I did use up my NARS Velvet Lip Glide in Bound. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx in 2020. Yep, in 2020. This was a recommendation by Jessica Braun. She loved this formula. She loved this shade. So whenever I saw it at a TJ Maxx, I was like, yes, let me try that. And I did enjoy the formula on my lips, but really at, you know, almost 3 years old, and I don't know how old it was before it got into TJ Maxx, I did finish this up by using it as a cream cheek product. It was beautiful that way. I really enjoyed it. NARS is one of those brands that I am consistently interested in what they're coming out with, so I was super thrilled to get this used up. I'm not counting this as the full price of the product. I am only counting this towards what I paid for it at TJ Maxx, so I think that this was probably a $30 to $35 product in its day when it was actually available, but I only purchased it for $14. So I do, you know, actually put down my purchase price for my items. I don't do retail price. So overall, I get a $14 bump in my empties for this product. So last makeup empty, and then I have a declutter that I want to like pop in here with a review on it. But the other item that I used up was my NARS Soft Matte Concealer. So she is all done. I really enjoyed this product, and like I figured like I could even use it under my eyes. Like it didn't cake up, it didn't settle. I've actually I kind of miss this now that I'm using a more liquid concealer underneath my eyes. So this is something that I would definitely have on my radar again to pick up. I had it in the shade Light 2.5 Creme Brulee, which was a great shade match for me. I think it was a little bit darker than my skin, so I was actually able to take this concealer and put it on any blemishes or dark marks underneath my foundation, and because it was a slightly darker than my skin, once I put the foundation over it, it didn't shine through, like it wasn't highlighted, it kind of was sunken back. And so definitely this is the shade that I would pick up again. It's one of those things that, you know, I don't know if Sephora will have a good enough deal on it, but If NARS has a sale on their website, I might be tempted to pick up a few things. I also have the like light reflecting foundation on my radar, but that is a $50 foundation. When did NARS get so expensive? Like they're creeping up into that like luxury zone, but it's still on my radar, it's still on my loves list. I really enjoyed using this up. It was a joy the whole way through. So this is definitely a product that I would consider purchasing again. And the declutter. So this is a mini of the Gucci mascara, and I used this in my Get Ready With Me that I used all my Project Pan items in, and I had mentioned that I really enjoyed the brush. I thought it looked beautiful. It's one of those like plastic spiky brushes, and so I love the brush, and I'm even considering like throwing this away and cleaning off the brush and just keeping the brush as a tool to comb through any clumps of my other mascaras. But this smudged on me so bad. Like, it looked like I had a black eye. I was smudged all the way around up top, all the way around the bottom. I had smudging like coming down my face, and I was like, have I been out in public looking like this? Like, how can this mascara do this, especially for a Gucci mascara that I know this is expensive full price. It has to be. It's Gucci. So overall, definitely skipping over on this, but I will end up cleaning off the brush and using the brush just in my tools because I do love that spiky brush to really comb out the lashes, get those clumps out, and give me that fluttery look that I love. So those were all my empties. I had a total of 12 empties and the one declutter with the mascara. And so for my totals for the month, I had $181.46 of empties. That is a little bit lower than what I have been kind of clocking. In this part of the year, it might slow down a little bit just because I'm working on more long-term items, and so it's taking a little bit longer for me to use them up. But let me see. Yes, this does include my total. So my total for the year is $1,098.13. So I'm already halfway to that $2,000 mark, and we're only through May. So we'll have to see if I can like keep up that momentum and reach that $2,000 for the end of the year. Again, it's not anything that is, that I stress about, but overall I do kind of like hitting that benchmark because that tells me that I'm actually cycling through my products and I'm not just letting them sit on the shelf, especially my more expensive items. I know a lot of people say they have a fantasy self where they buy this expensive item and then they don't use it, and I'm like, I can't do that. I want to see that emptied. I want to see that gone. I want to know that the money that I worked hard for was actually used on a product that I used and I enjoyed. So that's my 2 cents about, your fantasy self. I'm not going to galas or balls or anything like that, so I don't have any like special items that I have for a special date. I mean, our special date is going to the local pizzeria. Welcome to small town Florida. But I do really enjoy tracking all my empties and again, kind of seeing where I think the oldest item that I used up was from 2019, and that was my nail polish. Everything else was from like late 2020 to now. So again, I'm using up products that are within that 2.5 to 3 year mark. So I'm not letting my products go bad, which that is key to me with tracking. So my purchases for the month. My purchases are small but mighty. I'll put it that way. And if you watched my No Pan Left Behind video, then that was the sneak peek to where the majority of my money went. But let me pull out my purchases and we'll go over what I got. So I started the month off with a purchase from Ulta, and basically I picked up some more products from The Ordinary. So I picked up another caffeine solution because again, I used up my other one. I needed to make more of my daytime serum. I already had the niacinamide that I bought earlier this year, and so I was just missing the caffeine solution. So I did pick this up for my daytime serum. I picked up another hyaluronic acid, and this goes into my nighttime moisturizer. And again, I mix things. I don't know if it hurts them. This is just what I do for myself. But my nighttime moisturizer, basically, I take a big tub of like CeraVe moisturizer and I mix in some of the CeraVe like healing ointment, which a lot of people use for like slugging. And then I mix in a whole bottle of hyaluronic acid. So I'm adding hyaluronic acid into my nighttime moisturizer with that kind of, is it inclusive? The healing ointment that is kind of for like the slugging. And basically what I do is I put it all in a bowl in my kitchen. I take a whisk and I whip it. And so I kind of create this like whipped moisturizer with the hyaluronic acid serum in it. And that whole container lasts me about 8 months. So for the price of a CeraVe like moisturizer, and then I got hyaluronic acid serum for $8.90. So probably for a total of $20, I get moisturizer for about 8 months. That is how I keep my nighttime skincare down, and I can buy more treatment products that then I just lock it all in with that really thick moisturizer. So again, do what works for you. That's what's worked for me. My husband also uses that same cream. He has really dry skin. So for him, it's really getting that moisture in there and taking care of like more flaky skin. So it's been working for him too. And that way I'm not buying like specialty items for each one of us. We can just both use that same moisturizer. The other Ordinary product that I picked up was their multi-peptide serum for hair density. With my budget, hair care items do not count. And I can even say that because for the entirety of the year, I've only spent $26 on hair care. So even if it did count, it wouldn't really make that big of a difference. And again, I thank FabFitFun for having such great high-end hair care options, because that's where I get the majority of my hair care. But when I went to get my hair cut last time, my hairdresser asked me, she goes, "Did you have COVID?" And I was like, "No, knock on wood, I've never gotten COVID." And she goes, "Well, your hair seems a lot thinner." And, I've had really thick hair my entire life. And so it kind of worried me that I was having too much hair fallout or something was happening that, I'm doing all the things. I sleep on a silk pillowcase. I wear a bonnet to bed. I'm not like being, willy-nilly with my hair, and I keep having fallout and breakage on my hair. So I don't know what to turn to at this point. I'm trying to do everything that I can, but I was wondering if I needed to do something about hair density and kind of helping my hair grow back by, giving my scalp what it needs. And so I looked at this product. I got the little one. This was $13, and so I wanted to give it a try. I haven't been using it consistently and long enough to, say yes or no whether or not it works. But I will say that I'm already down to here, and the majority of that is because I spilled it. And if I could say one thing to the Ordinary, is I understand that you guys have the same packaging on stuff because, again, it probably keeps costs down and, again, cost to the consumer down. But you need a different delivery method with this product. You're supposed to put it, down into your roots. And if you are holding your hair back while trying to squeeze this in and then get the dropper bottle back in there to get more product, that's how I knocked it over. Just trying to get the pipette back in the bottle without, while I'm holding my hair up and doing all this other stuff. If they could, I guess, the nozzles that are kind of on the, the nozzles that are on even the Tower 28 where and there's that other primer that's like a primer water, but it's in a tube and it has that little nozzle that controls how much comes out. If they could put this product in a tube with a nozzle, that way you could it's kind of like dyeing your hair. You could almost part your hair and put the nozzle at the root and kind of just bring it back. That is the delivery method I think that would be better for this product. I mean, it's my fault that I knocked it over. I mean, I'm not, raving stark mad about it, but I think there is some room for improvement, especially since we have been preached to about how, don't touch the dropper to your face and then put it back in the product. Well, I'm basically touching the dropper to my scalp and then putting it back in the product. Versus if it was in a tube with a nozzle, you could just put the product straight onto your scalp, massage it in, and you're not cross-contaminating the product with whatever is on your scalp. That's all I'm going to say. I would be willing to pay an extra $2 for better packaging. So I would pay $15 for this for better packaging. So, The Ordinary, if you're out there listening, your hair products, better packaging. That's all I gotta say. We're gonna leave it at that. So basically the two other serums were $8.90. The hair serum was $13, but that doesn't count towards my budget, so I'm not worried about that. But the two big ticket items, so these. Lethal came out with their new palette that is the sister palette to the Nightflower. This is the Wildflower. So I did not pick this up on the first release, and that's mainly because I did not have the money in my budget. And that is how I am doing that like impulse control, that even though I think when this first came out, I still had like $50 in my budget, but that would still put me over. And I was like, no, you have to wait. They tell me that this is not limited edition. You can wait. You can wait until your next paycheck to buy it. And that's what I did. And so I did the pre-order and then the shipped out. So I did end up, I bought this on the 13th and I ended up getting it towards the end of the month. But this is what the color story looks like in here. Absolutely beautiful. I do have this shade right here tapped on my lid today, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful palette. I love the Lethal formulas. Absolutely gorgeous. I've used probably half of this palette by now, and I am super excited about dipping into this fun shade right here. But overall, I love it. Absolutely love it. Do not regret this purchase. I am tracking that I've purchased 4 eyeshadow palettes so far this year. In my mind, I'm thinking that, 12 would be an acceptable number. And that would be, even if it's a mini palette, that still counts as one. So I'm not necessarily looking at pans or anything like that. But so far, we are 5 months in, and I've bought 4 palettes. So I'm still, behind a little bit, so I could catch up if I wanted to. But the other palette is the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. And that's what this one looks like on the inside. I have done a couple looks with this palette, and I really do enjoy it. I'm really interested in this shade down here and just kind of like diving into this palette. I actually have 2 other Natasha Denona palettes on my eyes today with that Lethal shade tapped over the top, and so I am just trying to be intentional about getting progress on my Natasha palettes because, again, these are investments. I did order this during the pre-order, and what was so fantastic about that is that the release date was June 1st, so I purchased it on the 28th of May, and they shipped it out, and it got to me on June 1st. So even though I was pre-ordering it, it still was in my hands on release date. And I think that is fabulous that they're able to do that. Because again, I have to travel about an hour and a half to get to a Sephora. And about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get to an Ulta. And so for me to run down to one of the stores on release date is not realistic. So if I can get it shipped to me and I still get it in my hands on release date, that is super exciting. But of course, I wasn't able to take advantage of the Memorial Day sale. You couldn't use any discount codes on it, so I did pay full price on that, which was $69. And with shipping and everything on the Lethal palette, I spent $53.19. So of course, I don't count the $13 of the hair product in my budget. So for May, I did spend $139.99, so basically $140. I did close out April with a balance of $47.84. I had 2 paychecks in May, and so I am closing out May with $7.67. And that is why I said I need to be intentional about saving up some money for later on in the year when the next VIB sale rolls around, when the next 21 Days of Beauty rolls around, and when Black Friday rolls around. I need to kind of beef up my bank a little bit. So on my radar, I don't have a lot of purchases until September. So if I can be intentional, I don't want to put myself on a no buy. I don't want to like constrain myself to that, but I'm going to have that mindset of if I purchase something else now, then I am taking something else away from myself later. And so I have to weigh those options and say what is more beneficial. And again, that is how I kind of curve my impulse control. So those are all the items that I used up and brought in May. I have already like projected what my June is going to look like, and that is super exciting because in June, we're in a new quarter going into July. So at the end of the buys and buys in June, I'm going to bring up my spreadsheet again and look at what I came into the quarter with, what I used up, what I brought in, what I decluttered, and what my new numbers are. And again, I've kind of already projected some of that, and it is super exciting to see my inventory numbers going down and only bringing in what I need. Of course, this does not include eyeshadow palettes. Like, I understand that. Eyeshadow palettes, it is what it is. But the rest of my items, I'm only bringing in what I'm going to be able to use up. And that is so exciting. That is the mindset that I've been trying to get to. And I feel like I'm actually there. So I hope that some of this inspires you guys. I love your comments. So many of you have been so kind, saying that you guys have started tracking. You guys have started being more intentional about your purchasing and your panning and your usage. And it is just so wonderful that we have this format and this community to talk about this stuff, because I know I've heard it over and over again from other YouTubers and also people in the comments that a lot of times overconsumption has gotten us into some financial trouble. And again, I am part of that also, and that is why this system has been able to work for me over the past 2 or 3 years, and that really has gotten my mindset and my purchasing and my budget really in check. So I hope that some of this helps you guys. If you have any questions or anything that I can help you with, drop it in the comments and let me know. I am happy to have these conversations with you guys. If anyone would like to see a mid-year inventory from me, let me know down below. Drop it in a comment. Because again, I'm very interested in my numbers, and because I am so kind of like diligent about tracking, I have really good information and data that I would be able to share. So if you want to see that mid-year inventory, please let me know and I'll film it and I'll put it out there for you guys. I also want to remind you to do all the things. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me and help the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Ring the bell so you know whenever I upload. I am starting to upload a little bit more and have a little bit more content coming out, so be on the lookout for some of those new videos. But for now, I want to wish everybody a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.